Bitcoin is both the greatest and the worst industry in the world. It attracts the worst people in the world. It also attracts the greatest people in the world. And it's this dynamic that we call price discovery. It's, the price is reflective of the fact that you've got the smartest and greatest and noblest people in the world working on Bitcoin. You've also got the shittiest, worst, morally bankrupt scumbags in the industry as well. When you put them all together, you get a current price, which is whatever it is right now.
The month of June has begun with cryptocurrencies in a bear market, and this paradoxically makes it a good time to buy the Bitcoin dip. Most major cryptocurrencies are at prices well below key indicators like the 20-week SMA with low relative strength indicators. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Bitcoin bull and the host of Orange Pill podcast, Max Keiser, updates about Bitcoin price action and the consequences of Terra Luna meltdown, inflation and the latest trends in crypto markets, and why Wall Street is a scam covered by central banking system. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Max Keiser explains how the fiat currencies could go bankrupt and why the US debt is losing credibility in the world. So without wasting any time, let's dive right into the video.
Yeah, I think we're basically in the fourth cycle of scammers. So the Raoul Pal and Mike Novogratz and a few others are kind of at the center of this latest wave of bubble and scams that have come into so-called crypto space. And and as Greg has pointed out, the asset class that is Bitcoin is kind of shrugging it off, and it's not really having an impact on Bitcoin at all, really. Like it used to. In days gone by, some of these major scams, like OneCoin was from a few years ago, and others, they had more of an impact on the price of Bitcoin. And what boils my blood is that rejects from Wall Street, like Mike Novogratz, who was kind of a hedge fund reject. He fucked up his hedge fund. He walked away from the industry for a couple of years and saw an opportunity to recreate all the scammy shit he was doing on Wall Street in crypto. Or Raoul Pal is another Wall Street reject. I guess he wasn't given a partnership option, so he kind of went away and crawled into a cave for a while and saw an opportunity come into Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's market share dominance grew from 41% to 46% during the crypto market crash. This dominance is the highest Bitcoin has seen since October 2021. The price in Bitcoin bodes well for long-term price gains and tips Bitcoin as still a good crypto to buy in June 2022. The 20-week SMA indicator for Bitcoin is up over $38,000. This is well above the current Bitcoin price of $31,600. Bitcoin's RSI when looked at a weekly time frame is under 40%. An RSI of 30% is considered an optimum time to buy, while 70% and over is considered an optimum time to sell, as an asset is overpriced.
Yeah, well, the guy, Don Ho, or is it Do Kwon, or Do Kwon? He had been involved in several scams before this one. And so this was just the latest in a series of scams. And it was designed as a scam. It's similar to BitConnect in its design as a scam, and it blew up like a scam. The people who, like, again, Mike Novogratz, who didn't do any due diligence, is irresponsible. It goes beyond just being sloppy. I think it's bordering on the criminal, that he didn't do a shred of due diligence on this very obvious scam. I mean, Corey, of course, was tweeting about it before it blew up and saying, this thing is built to blow up. It's going to blow up, and it blew up. Same thing now with Celsius. Celsius, the more you dig into it, the more it's an obvious scam, and it's in the process of melting down. That's going to be another huge washout in the crypto space. But all these cryptos are going to get blown out of the water. They're all technically securities anyway. The SEC is dragging their feet. We can ask ourselves why Gary Gensler is failing to do his job. Is he just another captured regulator out there doing the bidding of his puppet masters? It looks that way. But eventually, Bitcoin is so beautiful that it will push out these crooks, these charlatans, these captured regulators. And, there's no point in trying to sugarcoat it. These guys are recidivist criminal scumbags, and they deserve to be in prison. The fact that they're not in prison is a shame. Really, it shows that the justice system in America is broken down. But I think that's pretty obvious across the spectrum. We see this all the time.
Bitcoin is a great example of a well-established crypto. It's one of the most volatile assets in history and has survived some of the biggest crashes. The lowest dip of Bitcoin happened in 2011, where its price dropped by over 99%. It was a miracle for investors to recover anything at all after that, but they did. Despite all that, Bitcoin has managed to weather the storm of fluctuations and maintained a persistent uptrend since its inception. It usually comes down to track records. If crypto is still standing after numerous dramatic episodes like Bitcoin, it's likely to recover from a dip.
A situation where Alan Greenspan, who was running the Fed at the time, lowered interest rates to bail out LTCM. And so all the pensioners in America had to collectively bail out these hedge fund guys in Greenwich, Connecticut, as Greg was saying, socialize the losses. And we saw that, of course, in 1987 when the plunge protection team was created. Again, Wall Street's lunch was saved, but the losses were distributed to the masses, and the Wall Street was saved. We saw that in the 2008 subprime crisis. Again, the bankers were saved and everyone else had to suffer. And we're seeing it right now. There's the crisis part 2 from 2008, and everyone who's on Wall Street and is a banker is getting bailed out, and everyone else is suffering from inflation, and everyone else is suffering from price distortions and social unrest. Again, it goes back to this idea of moral hazard, which is, again, the wiggle room. When the central bankers and Al Greenspan and others, or Ben Bernanke or Jay Powell says, we have the right to engage in moral hazard. We have the right to bypass ethics, morality, and the legal system to protect the functioning of these markets and to protect the liquidity of these markets. And what that's done is created an economy and a society based on fraud. So there's very little now in America that's not tied to Wall Street and therefore tied to fraud. The medical industry is now entirely fraudulent because of it's been commodified and securitized. All of banking, obviously, has been securitized and runs on a business model of fraud. The agricultural industry, the industrial industries, all of the sectors of the economy are tied to some degree to their cash desk, where they squeeze out extra profits, engaging in fraud. It's just fraud. And as the dollar loses world reserve currency, Brady, the problem is that other countries are saying, you know what, maybe we don't need America. Maybe we don't need the US dollar. So in this crisis, the difference with this crisis, Brady, is that there's no coming back. The inflation we see now is not going to reverse. Gas is going to $10, $11, $12 a gallon, and it's not going down. Prices of food are going to go up on a permanent basis because the entire globalization of post-World War II is becoming unglued, and the dollar as world reserve currency is losing its cachet. And this is a new reality for America, really, since post-World War II, where the standard of life is going to drop quite significantly because of all these bailouts. The chickens have finally come home to roost.
When crypto drops in price, many investors will buy even more of it. Doing so makes the average price at which they bought that coin lower. When you appear to have spent less on a coin, its price doesn't have to go that high for you to make a profit. The only problem with this strategy is it's only good for long-term investments. People who use this technique have a clear and precise vision of how the asset will behave way down the road. These types of investors are unfazed by downtrends and will buy the dips with unyielding conviction. When a new coin or token hits the market, it often maintains an uptrend for the first few cycles. This is the excitement period, where everyone is buying into the enthusiasm rather than financial vision. Eventually, a dip will come, and it can mean one of two things. It's temporary and will come back even higher, or people have lost interest and are cashing in their early investments. So, do you agree with Max Keiser that all other altcoins are a Ponzi scheme? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.